It is hot in Texas in the summer, so something we've wanted for a while is a cool, refreshing outdoor shower. Check out how I built it.
The spot we have picked out is right by the stock tank pool, and that's super convenient because we often like to rinse off before we get in the pool. And speaking of the pool, when we're in it, the view of this side of the house and all this junk is not very attractive. So building something functional that'll hide this mess is a bonus.
The very first step in this process is to dig some holes for the 4 posts that will hold up the walls of this shower. I got to work hand digging, and I dug about 12 inches wide and about 24 inches down in each hole. And quick PSA, make sure you always check with your service providers to make sure you don't have any water or power lines underneath your dig site. I finished with the holes by adding a couple of inches of pea gravel to the bottom, which will help with drainage and keep the bottoms of the posts out of moisture.
Gross.
I'm going to add a sleeve to each post that protects against wood rot from moisture over time. Before installation, I needed to set each post in their holes and mark 2 inches above the ground line to mark the correct placement of the sleeve. The sleeves are called Post Saver, and they're sold by Fence Armor. I'll leave a link for them down below. They're heat shrinkable sleeves with a tar-like liner that creates a water and airtight seal at the vulnerable ground line. I heated all 4 sides with a heat gun, also rolling each side to really set that inside layer of protection. And with the sleeves all done, let's move on to installation and set these posts. But first, I'm stealing some shade from the stock tank pool because it is hot.
That means the camera is too hot. It's so hot out here.
I strapped on a post level, and then I cut some 2x4s down to make some bracing. I'm working solo, so a quick tip is to attach a trigger clamp at the ground level to be extra hands and help hold the post in place. I then took 2 of the 2x4 braces and screwed them to adjacent sides of the post. Then I hammered a wooden stake into the ground at the bottom end. Now I can slightly manipulate each brace until the post is perfectly vertical, also known as plumb, and lock it down by screwing the brace to the stake. I'm using a super easy, fast-setting concrete mix for these posts.
Concrete work. Gotta protect the land. That stuff is nasty.
My favorite thing about this Quikrete is that you can just pour the dry mix into the post holes and then add water without mixing. It sets in 20 to 40 minutes and it's super strong. I then repeated all of the steps for the rest of the posts, getting them all plumb and set in concrete as well. The next day I was able to remove the braces and really get a first good look at the structure taking shape. The floor of the shower is going to be made from natural stone pavers and rocks, and I need to dig out a little ground for them. I dug out the grass and a few inches into the dirt, making sure to keep a gradual downward slope away from the house for good drainage. I picked up these metal edging sections from the big box store, but they were all longer than I needed. Thankfully, they're easily cut to size with a hacksaw and a little muscle. I cut the metal about halfway through and then I bent it back and forth until it separated cleanly on the line, making the perfect length. I then installed them around the perimeter with stakes, making a great barrier between the grass and the dirt and outlining the shower floor. This is a tamper tool. It's great for packing down leveling material like sand, rock, and dirt. I then rolled out some weed barrier cloth, cut it to size, and secured it in place with metal landscape staples. My next step is to lay down and level some sand. I've had some sandbags left over from an old project, so I was super excited for this project to help use them up. And as usual, big help from my assistant, Hallie.
What do you have to say?
Okay, and now it's time to lay down the pavers. We wanted a natural stone floor, so we picked up a large limestone paver at a local landscape supply store that's native to our area. Even though it's super thick, right before we made it home, I managed to hit a bump and crack it into 3 pieces. But honestly, I think it's a happy accident, as it now seems even more organic and we like it even better. I then filled in the surrounding areas and cracks with some Colorado River rock that's not too small and also not big enough to hurt bare feet. Just the right size. Okay, and finally time to build the walls. I'm building the whole structure out of cedar. I love how it looks for exterior projects, and it's a rot and bug resistant wood. I set up my miter saw in the shade and started cutting some 2x4s and then adding pocket holes to each end. These boards will tie the posts together and also become a shelf inside the shower walls. I set the first board in place, made sure it was level, and then secured it to the posts with exterior rated pocket screws from the bottom. Once again, these trigger clamps are amazing extra hands. I set the boards in place right on the clamps while I screwed them in. For the walls, I'm going with horizontal cedar slats, cut from cedar fence pickets. I cut the first board and then I clamped it in place at the bottom, making sure it's level, as this will set the tone for each board above it. I pre-drilled a pilot hole to make sure the boards don't crack when I screw near the edge, and then I screwed in 2 screws on each end. For a minimal appearance, I'm using trim head screws, which are the same small head screws I used on my modern mailbox and also my garbage privacy fence projects. I'd set a board in place and mark for the cuts, cut it to size, and then screw it down. With that one side done, I moved on to the next, making sure to start my bottom board exactly in line with the first board from the first side, and of course level.
This is looking so cool.
With the walls up, I could finally trim down this extra post length at the top. I want to add another row of 2x4s around the top as a cap board. You'll also see here in a minute that this will help as an attachment point for the plumbing. I added a 45-degree cut on each end where the boards will meet at the corners, and then screwed the boards right down to the posts. I think adding trim to the ends will really give these walls a finished pro look. I got 1x4 trim boards cut to length, set the first one on the edge, and then attached it using my 18-gauge brad nailer. I'm using brad nails that are rated for exterior use so they don't bleed over time and stain the wood. As I mentioned, I love the look of cedar, but left unfinished, it's gonna gray out over time. I wanna keep the original color, so I'm adding a good finish to protect it from sun and really make the cedar pop. I started with Total Boat's Wood Sealer Varnish Primer, which is a great first sealer coat. It fills the wood grain, seals the fibers against moisture, and protects against the sun. And man, look at that cedar come to life. I let that dry, and then I prepared for my finish coat of Total Boat Halcyon in an amber tint. It's so easy to apply by brush, roller, or spraying. It provides excellent UV protection. It dries fast, so you can apply another coat within an hour, and it dries to a clear finish. It's also water-based, so cleanup is a breeze. And with all the finish applied, it's finally time for plumbing.
Before we add the plumbing, let's take a quick cool off and thank the sponsor of today's video, Shaker and Spoon. Shaker and Spoon is a monthly cocktail subscription service that delivers the craft cocktail experience right to your front door. Each month you receive a box with 3 delicious, one-of-a-kind recipes created by world-class bartenders, as well as all of the ingredients for up to 12 cocktails. All you need to add is your favorite liquor. We really enjoy nice cocktails at our house, and Shaker and Spoon makes it so easy to learn about spirits and flavor combinations we've never tried before. This month we received the Añejo Let's Go box, which builds cocktails around my personal favorite liquor, tequila. It's so nice to break out of our pattern and try new cocktails, and so convenient to have easy instructions and unique house-made ingredients included. This particular cocktail is called Tijuana Brass, and it calls for ice cubes made from coconut water, which is new to me and fun because the drink evolves as the ice melts. And a finishing touch, a spray of orange oil over the top. That's definitely stepping it up from the norm around here.
It smells really good. That's good. Hitting the spot.
So step up your date night or your happy hour in your stock tank pool or your outdoor shower experience and use my link down in the description and my code MAKERGRAY for $20 off your subscription of Shaker and Spoon. Now let's go install some plumbing.
I picked up this metal Y connector for a water spigot, which separates off a new line for the shower. I then connected a new water hose to one side. This is a summer shower, and we've had more 100-degree days this summer than not, so plumbing in hot water for us isn't necessary. Our summer tap water is the perfect temperature for a shower. I used the same landscape pins from earlier, and I secured the hose down right next to the foundation. The grass and the rocks cover it, and it's pretty much out of sight. I'm using these galvanized steel pipes for the plumbing. The bottom line will connect to the outside hose, so I'm going to cut in an entry point. For this, I'm using a Forstner bit to cut a round hole at just the right spot. I then stuck the pipe through and attached a galvanized coupling, which is where I'll attach the water hose. I added a 90-degree elbow fitting to the other end and started building all the way up to the shower head, wrapping plumber's tape around each threaded attachment point to seal the joints and prevent any leaks. Halfway up, I added this water valve so we can turn the water off and on inside the shower. With everything connected, I then grabbed some galvanized pipe straps and I secured the pipes to the structure with stainless steel screws. At the very top, I screwed on a shower arm and the shower head, and with that, this outdoor shower is done. Let's take a look back at this empty space before, and here it is now. I'm obsessed. I love everything about this build. We knew that we would like having this shower, but we really love this shower. It's such a refreshing way to cool down, and there's something wonderful about showering outside in the open air. Kind of gives you those resort vibes. The cedar is gorgeous. I love the natural stone floor and having plants in here, and the water is the perfect temperature. It's funny how much we look forward to our showers now. It also turned out to be a great changing area for guests after they enjoy our stock tank pool. Let me know down in the comments what you think and if there's something else you think we should add in the shower. And if you'd like to see more of my outside projects, there's a link down in the description. Make sure you're subscribed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next project.